UK jobs. So if you're watching this and you're already in the UK on any visa looking to switch, or you're still out of the UK considering relocation to the UK, then it's very, very important that you obviously hear me out. And by the way, where are you joining in from? Where are you currently based? In which country are you? Leave that in the comment section below because I would love to know so that I can provide information that is tailored to your circumstances. If you've got any questions also about UK visa sponsorship jobs, healthcare jobs, nursing, work from home jobs, remote jobs, side hustles, you know what I mean? Then leave that in the comment section below. And I'm also going to answer all the questions that I see in the comment section. So I'm going to talk about this really important topic, like the current situation regarding UK jobs, because I see that there's still quite a lot of confusion regarding which jobs are offering visa sponsorship, for example, which jobs are recruiting at the moment. If you're looking to switch, which jobs can you apply for? If you're looking to relocate to the UK, will you also be applying for the same jobs? And that's why it's very important that you know about your personal circumstances and then apply for jobs that are suitable for your circumstances, because otherwise it's going to be very, very challenging. So by the way, if anybody's joining in now, because this is live, I was just like, let me just talk about this live. So if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. While I'm here now, I can also just answer them live, and that's absolutely fine. So hi, and thanks for joining in. So I was just talking about the situation regarding UK jobs. So the reality of the fact is that with the current immigration rules and policies and all of that, even before, not all jobs in the UK have ever been offering visa sponsorship. Even if you're British or you've got indefinite leave to remain and you don't need sponsorship, it is very challenging, always has been, getting jobs in certain sectors in the UK. And so if you need sponsorship, again, you have to be even more strategic. That's why keeping up to date with the changes, the government changes, it's absolutely crucial, because you cannot do anything without understanding the changes that the government is implementing, because there are certain periods of time that some jobs are removed from the sponsorship list, which means they are not eligible for visa sponsorship, and then new jobs are added constantly. So you have to be up to date with all of that. But if you're somebody who is not in healthcare at the moment, or you're not interested in healthcare jobs, if you need visa sponsorship, the chances of you getting visa sponsorship, I can tell you, are going to be very, very low. Why? Because before COVID, you know, there were lots of other sectors, like, let's say, for example, IT and all of that were giving sponsorship. When COVID hit, many employers realized that they can actually just outsource most of those jobs to people that can maybe work from home, which means they don't need sponsorship in the first place, but also they can outsource to other countries. And this means that if you need visa sponsorship, you need to focus on those jobs where they have no option but to deal with human beings. This is very crucial because some people don't realize this. I'm saying this because I had a conversation this morning with a gentleman who is still out of the UK. He's considering relocation to the UK. So currently he is a driver, and he was like, "Oh, Melvis, I want to relocate to the UK, but my field and my sector and my specialty is driving. So I want a job in the UK as a truck driver." And I was like, "Well, that's all good and fine, but guess what? That's not how it works. You don't get jobs in the UK based on your skills, your experiences, your qualifications, unfortunately. If you need sponsorship, you have to focus on those jobs that give sponsorship, not because you want it or not because you like it, but because that's the only option if you're going to get visa sponsorship, because the jobs are very limited. Also, there are many strict rules, which again, some people are not aware, which means if you're getting any job that is not on the shortage occupation list regarding visa sponsorship, then you have to be earning the higher salary threshold, which means that job needs to be paying at least, let's just say, £39,000 to round up. I can tell you that in the UK, many entry-level jobs will not pay you that amount. There are jobs that pay that amount, but they are not necessarily entry level, which means that, except a job like nanny jobs, because nanny jobs are the only jobs that I know personally that pay a lot from day one. But obviously, there are jobs that are very, let me say, strategic, and not everybody would just apply for them. So again, you need to make sure that you're looking at that information, and you're looking at those jobs on the list, on the UK government list, and ensuring that you're only applying for those jobs that are on that list. Because like I say, any job that is not on the list, is also not eligible for exemption from the healthcare surcharge, which means if you get that job, you need to pay the healthcare surcharge, which is £1,035 per person per year. So if you've got dependents, obviously you just have to multiply that amount by the number of dependents that you have. So financially, you've also got to be very, very financially, well to do. You cannot be broke and applying for those jobs because it does not work. I tell you, it is a very expensive process. So where does this leave you then? So if you're somebody who is thinking, okay, my priority is to get sponsorship, visa sponsorship to switch, or to relocate, then you need to be focusing on those entry level jobs. And that's for those people who are not, like, if you're not a nurse, you're not a midwife, you're not a doctor, you're not a pharmacist, occupational therapist, because those jobs, they recruit people directly from overseas with their existing qualifications. But if you're in any other sector, then obviously those non-healthcare related jobs are not exempted from the challenges that we've spoken about. So again, it's up to you as an individual to ensure that you're focusing on those jobs that are eligible for visa sponsorship, but also that you're going to qualify to apply, because there is a lot that is involved. And then the competitive process, it's also quite challenging, because if somebody was looking for a job in the UK 2 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 6 years ago, there were massive differences compared to now. This is the most competitive literally it's ever been. So you need to be very wise. And if I was in the position where I needed sponsorship today, and I was out of the UK or in the UK, I would definitely focus on those jobs that are within the healthcare sector, get the job, and then try to see whether you can diversify or whether you can divert your, interest into other sectors that you have more, let me say, experience or qualifications in. I'm saying this because I deal with many people who are like Melvis. I've got my experience, in banking. I'm a manager. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned my own business for 30 years, and I don't want this job, but I want to relocate to the UK. You are restricted to only applying for those jobs that offer sponsorship. That's the way that it works. And I think sometimes, many people don't understand this, because they think if I want to come to the UK, I can just apply for any job that I want based on my qualifications and my experiences. It doesn't work that way. I had a conversation with somebody last week, and the person was like, I've got a degree in agriculture and something, something, something. And he was adamant that he wanted a job in his sector. And I was like, what's your sector, or what's your background? And he was like, oh, I've got a degree in agriculture and something. And I was like, so what type of a job would you be applying for? And even he had no idea. So there's no such thing as, oh, this is my background, or this is this. No, because if the experience you've got, even if it's 1,000 years of experience, if it's in a sector that doesn't give sponsorship in the UK, you will not be able to get visa sponsorship. And this is something that is important to understand, because many people are spending a lot of time applying for jobs that are not eligible for sponsorship. So it's a waste of time, because no matter how well you perform, even if there's no way you're going to get sponsorship for that job if it is not eligible for visa sponsorship. That's my point. But if it's eligible and it's not on the shortage occupation list, then you need to be financially well to do. Because if you're not financially well to do, there are certain jobs in the UK that you cannot have because they are expensive. Not because somebody is charging you illegal fees. I'm talking about legal visa fees here, that the Home Office, which is the UK Immigration Services, will legally charge you. Those fees are very high for all those jobs that are not on the shortage occupation list. So you need to, it's your duty, obviously, as a human being, to decide which option do you want to go for. And by the way, we have our live class today from 8:30 p.m. UK time, promptly. We start at 8:30 p.m. So it's very important to attend the session, obviously, as usual, as I always say. The session is going to be recorded. So whether you attend or not, you're going to have access to the recording. Immediately after the session is over, I'm going to send a message to say the recording is now available. But obviously, that will be after the live session. So we start 8:30 p.m. Whenever we finish that session, you're going to have access to the recording. But my main point for this video is, not all jobs in the UK give sponsorship, and you don't apply for jobs in the UK based on your qualifications, your experiences, your skills, or your interest. If you're an overseas immigrant, or you're in the UK already or still out of the UK, you don't have a choice but to apply for those jobs, only those jobs that give visa sponsorship. Unfortunately, this is how it works. I'm not sure how other countries work because somebody like me, I'm too busy. I don't have time to check what's going on in other countries. So I've got no idea how immigration things work in other countries like Canada, USA, and all of that. But in the UK, you're obliged to only apply for those jobs, that are offering sponsorship. If they are not, you cannot get a visa, for that particular job. I mean, like a work visa. But, if you can, with those other jobs that are not on the shortage occupation list, then you've got to be very financially viable. So you need to think about how much money have I got? So if you come in saying, oh, I'm broke, I haven't got any money, but my background is in XYZ, no, that's not going to work because there are certain sectors that are for people who've got money, which means the legal fees are very, very high. And again, remember, I'm talking about legal fees here. I'm not talking about illegal fees for agents or things like that. I'm talking about legal fees that the immigration services will charge you at the point of applying. So again, these are the things you need to be aware of. So I hope that if you're looking for jobs in the UK now, your mind has to be very open. You need to be willing to accept change. Just like me, for example, when I started my UK journey, I was a carer. I did domiciliary care, I did support work, I worked in residential homes, I worked in people's own homes, I was supporting people with Parkinson's, dementia. But every single time I was trying to upgrade myself, and that's how I was able to upgrade to now becoming an advanced nurse practitioner. Because I think some people, when you watch videos about people saying, oh, I've done this, I'm doing this, I bought a new house, I'm earning this amount, they haven't just started today. It's taken time. So we're all at different stages of our UK journeys. So remember that it's step by step. And if that step means diversifying your interest or your attention, looking at new avenues, looking into new sectors, then I'm sorry, it's worth doing because once you're in the system, once you're within the organization, then obviously everything else is more manageable. But while you're still out and you need sponsorship, it is a challenge. So you need to be very, very smart. You need to be very strategic. You don't have to be so rigid, when it comes to jobs because the rules and everything changes all the times and you've got to change and adapt with the times if you're going to survive. This is like survival of the fittest. So again, that's why I thought I should talk about this because that's the situation. That's really what is there, which means if you're not interested in any of those sectors that offer sponsorship, maybe you should consider a different country because or consider a different pathway for the UK. But all jobs are not giving visa sponsorship. There are only few jobs today, as we speak, that are actually giving visa sponsorship. Otherwise, you're going to spend time applying for jobs that is just not worth it. So but anyway, during that live class today, I think we're going to go into more details so that I was just preparing for that session because there's quite a few things I need to go through and all of that. So we'll talk more about that, during the session. But obviously, yeah, if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I'm going to look into them. I've got my newsletter. Obviously, if you check the description section here, I mean, you'll see a lot of details about different things. I've got resources. I've got literally everything about opportunities, career progression, obviously, in the UK. But it's a lot of work. I can tell you, it is a lot of work. Because you're going to watch YouTube videos that are like, hey, relocate to the UK in 2 days and this and that. In real life, that doesn't work. It's a lot of work because I deal with this every single day. I have people that are doing interviews every day. I've got 3 people in my coaching program who have their NHS interviews today. And I tell you, those interviews are very, very challenging now because they have a really good pool of people to pull from. And so the competition is really high. The questions are very, very clinical. The questions are very, very full on. And you need to really be well prepared for you to succeed. Like you need to be. So again, like I say, I think sometimes people get disillusioned when you come onto YouTube because everything always seems easy here, isn't it? Like, I'll relocate in 2 days. UK is recruiting 70,000 people, but it's a lot of hard work. I can tell you that. But it's worth it. I mean, nothing good comes easy anyway. But be ready for the process. I know that it's also taking longer now to go through the whole process than any time in history. Because I remember previously, I used to support, it used to be like 3 months, from start to finish. Everything was like in 3 months, you're done. You're even in the UK now, it's taking a lot longer. So everything is going to take more time than you think it will take. So just be ready for that, So, but that's the situation anyway. So I'm just going to check the questions and check the comment section and answer any questions that you have. And if you've got any concerns, just drop them. I'm more than happy to provide those details because I need to check my people have got their interviews today, how they are doing. And we're also going to talk about, the interviews, tonight during the session. What sort of questions do they ask during the interview? And, I'm hoping that they will be able to attend just to share those experiences themselves. I think it's always a lot easier. But we'll talk more about that during the live class anyway. So thank you.